Okay. Hey everybody, so it's another midweek chat. I'm out at the golf course today. So got my Diet 7 Up from the bar. A little too early for an IPA, right? But beautiful day. Kind of want to be out here playing rather than chatting, you know, but that's all right. That'll be a nice place to go. It's a little more sheltered from the wind. I hope it doesn't get too windy here. But they have some nice, you know, music, but it might interfere. Like they have a soundtrack playing, so it's pleasant background. It's a little bit more quiet here, but a little more exposed to the wind. So let's see. I got my notes here. I got some parish news as always, and so I'm at Wild Ridge. I'm here more often. I'm here for wedding receptions and stuff than I am for golfing. Get out here to golf maybe once or twice a year. Lovely course. So yeah, they have good Diet 7 Up. Okay, let's do some parish news, huh? It is April 27th. We got some golfers there. I got a green behind me. If people come up behind and they're putting, maybe we can check it out. So it is April 26th, coming up on May. So Sunday will be the last day of April, and we'll head into May, expecting good weather like today, here on out, right? My brother's coming in on Saturday night. I just talked to him. I called my mom on the way over here, and she said, "Do you want to talk to Randy?" I'm like, "Randy, what?" So Randy pulled into town. I knew he was coming to Eau Claire on Saturday, but I didn't know he was already. So that's good. He's spending some time with mom, and he's coming over here. See my other brother in Madison. Okay, parish news. We got our ministry fair this weekend. So after every mass in the gathering space, there will be displays of all the different things that go on. I guess our different ministries, like communion to the homebound, music ministry, religious ed, teacher volunteers, school volunteers, liturgy, decorating. There's over 50. I could only come up with 5 off the top of my head, which is silly, but so that'll be kind of exciting. So we'll still have hospitality. We'll still have the coffee and cookies and stuff, but there won't be anywhere to sit. So it'd be kind of like having a walking taco. I don't think that's probably what they're serving, but you ever see those at like fairs, walking tacos? It's like there's a bag of Fritos and you open it, so it's good. And then you put in a bunch of tomatoes and lettuce and sour cream and stuff, and then you eat it. It's a walking taco. So ministry fair. Thanks everybody participating in that. We've got a nice active parish, a lot of things going on. So it's just a way to kind of showcase what we do. And also to, I think, to recruit some volunteers. I think for some of them especially, that'd be great if you want to show interest, joining a choir or something like that, you know. So I've been looking forward to that for a while. Wayne came by this week. He's fixing looking at a lot of doors and things he can kind of fix. One thing he's doing, I was really willing to do it myself, but I just wanted some advice, so I wasn't fishing for him to do it, but he's going to do it. Our disc golf course, some of the numbers on the railroad ties that are at the tee area, the paint's getting all chipped, and I was going to paint them. So I asked him some advice on painting. He said, really, you know, he doesn't like to do anything not well. So he said, really, rather than just throwing paint on where that's peeled off, I think I need to take them, sandblast them down, prime them, then put some paint on. So he's going to do a real nice job, get that in order. Speaking of the disc golf course, tragedy has struck the horticultural dimension of St. James. We have, there are these 2 trees on our disc golf course that are key for the hole number 1. It's a short hole, but it has these 2 giant trees in front of it. So you have to negotiate around these trees. It makes the hole really interesting. And they're ash trees, and I knew that the ash trees are endangered because of the EAB, the emerald ash borer. And, well, they're diseased. They're not as badly diseased because we've been treating them. I think it's staved it off a little bit, but so they'll have to come down. We might go through this summer yet with those trees because we definitely want to plant some new trees there. Not just because the disc golf course, but trees are good. And the school children, they're always at recess when the weather's nice. They're always out in front of those, under those trees to get some beautiful shade. So we'll get some new trees planted there next, maybe in the autumn. Anybody know when the best time to plant a tree is? I Googled it quickly and it said late winter, early spring. but maybe fall is a decent time. I assume July is not a great time to plant a new tree. But so we have 8 ash trees on our property that are not looking good. And I saw Michael, he said maybe the city takes them down and then they use the wood and it's free. Someone else said, yeah, that's if it's city property. I don't think they do that for private property people. But so anyway, Ann got 3 bids from 3 different vendors. It looks like we'll be losing some tree. The 2 of them are right next to the Parish Center, the old rectory on the south side. They give a lot of shade to the building in the summer because it's a southern exposure, so it'll be hard to take those down. And then 4 on the border between the new rectory yard where we have the outdoor mass and the playground. So, and then the 2 on the first hole of the disc golf course. So that emerald ash borer, I shake my fist at you. All part of God's creation, I guess. Well, let's see. So those are big news items. Just recruiting still for the St. John's retreat. I think I mentioned other chats, but so Monday and Tuesday, May 22nd, 23rd, we'll be going to St. John's Abbey. And on the way there, we'll stop at the College of St. Benedict. I think it's called St. Joseph's Monastery. It's where the sisters live, the Benedictine sisters, several of whom were at St. Bede's in Eau Claire until they closed shop and moved over there to be absorbed into a larger community when their community here got small. But so they are ready to welcome us, especially if anybody maybe knows those sisters from their time here. Be a nice time. Sister Michaela will be there, I think, for sure. Sister Karen, Sister Judy, Sister Lucy. Oh, I had 5 in mind. Once I started listing them, you forget. But, and some of the other nuns that you might know who haven't died might be at St. Scholastica across town, and we really don't have time to go there. But so after we pray and have lunch with those some of the sisters there, we'll go on to St. John's Abbey and check in the afternoon at the guest house, do the mass with the monks, evening prayer, some free time. Should be really beautiful, late May. And do some things together. And if you want to just go and have some time by yourself, but go up with us and have dinner with us, that's fine too. So it'll be our 3rd time doing this. We've gone every 6 months, starting a year ago. So I don't know if we can call that a tradition yet or not, but we went last June. There goes some golfers. And last October, and we're going this May. So anyway, let me know. I want to take at least 8, and I have about 6 signed up. I think I can take as many as 17. I think I have reserved. And we'll carpool, so I need to know if you would drive too. Just quick mention, the Holy Land pilgrimage. So it's I'm keeping it just to St. James people that I'm signing up right now. Father Steve in Stevens Point is just signing up his parishioners, and then in mid-May, I said May 7th for us. Then I'll just open it up to whoever wants to go. So you can certainly sign up after May 7th, but it could fill up. So this is like April. I'll get you the exact dates, but it's like April 4th to the 18th, something like that. It's just the Thursday after Easter that we'll be taking off, God willing, if things calm down over there a little bit and things are okay. We're gonna sneak it in between Easter and Passover. You got to work it around the religious holidays. You don't have to, but like if you're there on Passover, then something shut down. If you're there on Greek Easter, it gets really crowded. So Greek Orthodox and Roman Catholics have different days for Easter. So just a wonderfully diverse. It's too bad that that's not celebrated more. It's more, I mean, it is by so many people, but that's one of the harsh things about our world right now, is that differences seem to be more of a cause of animosity and division and hatred versus, wow, it's kind of neat that you're different than I am. You have different traditions, and let me learn about you. You can learn about me. And let's share this earth, or share this city. It's tough. So peace will find a way, right? I hope so. Hey, a lot of people appreciated seeing Sharons Bees last weekend. Sharon's a beekeeper, and her bees from last year died, so she got like 10,000 more bees. and she brought them into church, and as far as I know, none of them flew out. So I think it's safe. Even if you have a bee allergy, come back and come to church. But she was explaining to everybody with ears to hear how a queen bee becomes a queen bee, and anyway, it was pretty cool to see all those bees. Shoes. Bring your shoes. Apparently, any condition. We have a shoe. I forget. Honestly, I forget the organization and what they do with them. But we're just collecting shoes all over the city, including St. James. And I think the shoes that are lightly worn or new or whatever will just get used right away by people that need shoes, like homeless folks. And then apparently even shoes that are really bad shape, bring them in and they somehow repurpose them or something. Ship them overseas and they repurpose them. That's what I heard today, and that's what's in the bulletin, any condition. So better than throwing them in a landfill. Speaking of better than throwing in a landfill, our metal recycling will start May 10th or 11th, something like that. You'll see a big, looks like a semi-trailer, but right on the ground, not on wheels. Sometimes it says toys. And I guess that's a guy's name, Tommy Toys or something like that. We did a shortcut. I was coming back from La Crosse with some people, and we had to get to South 93, but we took Highway 53, so we had to find a way to cut over there. And around Brackett or so, we turned west, and I said, that's a nice house. And so I said, yeah, that's the toys guy. I'm like, the metal recycling. Anyway, so that metal recycling will happen soon. Thanks to the Knights of Columbus for coordinating that. We got, speaking of Knights of Columbus, they have some buildings that they've maintained on our property, some garages, some storing spaces. One of them's in pretty rough shape, so we got to figure out what to do with that. Like the foundation's kind of rotting. But there's a group that's looking at painting some of them, and they were hard at work today with their colors, and which we're thinking the color to kind of match the tan of the school building, and then maybe some nice green trim. Well, we thank them. I think it's mostly people from the grief group that decided they wanted to do something about that. So that's good. That is one of the ways I think that we cope with grief, is to be in community with each other and do good for others. That always raises our spirits whenever we can feel that connection. We had a lovely bequest. We don't know how much exactly, but and nobody seems to remember who the person was. His name is James Severson, and he did Severson Business Machines, and he died recently, I think, to a ripe old age. I think he was a World War II vet. So, in his 90s, I think, and we just got a letter from the lawyer that he left St. James some money, and we don't really have a record of him, but he left some money to St. James and other Catholic groups. So anyway, we thank him for that from your place and with God. Just a little reminder, that's a great thing to do. It's very helpful, unexpected bequests like that. So if you don't have a will, you might consider making a will, and if you do, if you could include your church in it, they'd appreciate it. We'd appreciate it. Blood drive went well. We had blood drive on Monday. I stopped in there. It's kind of fun just stopping in and seeing all the good people come in with their arms ready to be tapped. We got 33 units of blood, and I guess our goal was 31. So we met our goal. That's good. So thanks anybody who was involved in that. Sunshine Days are kind of our vacation Bible school deal. You can register. Kelly said the registration is just going real slowly, but I guess that's typical. But you can register off of the website. You can always call the office. It's going to be July 10, 11, 12, 13. To volunteer or to register your children. Be good. Speaking of that, Kelly and Beth, their last religious education night is tonight. So that'll be good. It's a nice, it's a really good program they put together, right? And then on May 10th, it'll be the catechist dinner, appreciation dinner, down at is it in Foster at some pizza place, I heard? So I'm hoping to be able to go to that. Sounds great. I think that's kind of the parish news for the day. I think that's, we're looking at having a women's retreat next fall. So so many of you appreciated the parish mission that Pam gave for us. this year about suffering and keeping hope in the midst of suffering. And a few parishioners approached, said, would you ever consider doing facilitating a retreat for women at St. James? And she said she'd think about it. And I saw her this week at our pilgrimage reunion, and she said, if you want me to do that, I'm open to doing it, probably next fall. So, coming attraction, that'll be great. Hey, I got my vacation days set. I'm going to go out to Seattle. I'll be gone July 17th to the 26th. So in about 3 months. And Father Shebs will be taking the George while I'm gone, the weekend Mass. I'm going to miss a nice event that we're going to have at St. James, though. I'm sorry to do that. I just thought while I'm traveling way over there, I want to make the most of my time. But we're going to have Sherry McMiniman and Mary Kolstad and maybe others have collaborated to try to get a church composer musician named Sarah Hart to come to St. James, and she's going to do a little workshop for our choirs and our vocalists. And I'm not sure if there's going to be like a parish event or it's mostly for our musicians, but I hate to miss it. It sounded like they're excited about it, and to have someone that's kind of nationally known right in your parish. But I'll be gone. I'll be out on the West Coast. You'll hear more about that as the time gets closer. But we just sang one of her songs today at the school mass. The one, you alone are holy, you alone are Lord, you alone are worthy to be honored and adored. Right? You know that one? Yeah. So that was a school mass song today. We had a great school mass. The choir, it's really interesting. I'm not going to think of the tune. People, he is here, he is alive. Alleluia, love is alive. Conquered the dead and defeated the night. Alleluia, love is alive. Heaven is risen for all. Your people sing Alleluia. So if you've been attending Mass at St. James for the last year, you've heard that song more than once. And it's been really highlighted this Easter. And I always kind of liked that. I always liked when Hannah would kick in with that bass. It's like, really good string bass song. But, maybe because I'm presiding, I don't always have the words in front of me. But I have to say, I found it kind of hard to sing in the beginning. I'm saying this is a big compliment in the end. And, but, I didn't know it. And sometimes when we don't know the song, we feel like, But to me, that's an example of a song that has really caught on. And it took a while to learn. I think we've been singing it for about a year. And I just love it. And I'll tell you what, the kids know it, the school children. I like it so much. I'm singing loud, and I was we're halfway through the song, and I'm like, Tom, be quiet. The people want to hear the children singing, not you bellowing, So I still sing, but a quieter voice. The children, I think every kid in school, so we had about 80 kids at Mass probably, and they were just full voice, Alleluia, love is alive, with that children's voice. It's just beautiful. Anyway, so I thank Mary and everybody who works on our music, and so the old favorites are always fun to sing, but it's great to have some of these new songs that become part of our parish life and echo in our minds and make our toes tap, right? Beautiful part of our parish, our music ministry. Where are we at? Yeah, I'll get done easily before 30 minutes today. We're just kind of taking it easy at the golf course. I thought there'd be more golfers behind me. See that? There's a green there. Right when I came, they were all in the green putting. I don't think there's been any since. Yeah, it's a nice course. My bicycle, they cleared the brush, but way on that end is West Folsom Street, and I'm on my bicycle on West Folsom Street all the time in the summer, and I didn't realize it bordered this golf course until they cleared some brush, And I saw a course there, and I said, "What course is this?" And it's like, "Well, that's Wild Ridge." You never know; it's right behind the screen, Be really close to some things. It's a little bit like an image for grace and God. We're always kind of surrounded by potential to see God and a spirit alive, and it might be just beyond what we can apprehend, but it's there. So let's see. I wanted to mention is Good Shepherd weekend. So Easter season. Every year I just enjoy more and more Easter season. By the way, if you want to do Stations of the Cross, Stations of the Resurrection, I don't think we've had any out of school guests, but you're certainly welcome. If the door's locked, just ring the school bell. I try to open them. They're nice. They don't take too long. I think we start at like 2:30, 2:40. And like there's 14 Stations of the Cross, there's 14 Stations of the Resurrection. And thanks to Kelly, they're taped under the Stations of the Cross. So, even if you come on a Sunday, come to Mass 10 minutes early or stay a little late and just walk the Stations of the Resurrection. You can kind of, as you're looking at the altar, they begin halfway, kind of at the midpoint of church on the left side, then they go backwards, curl around the back, and they end up at the front by the piano. That's where the permanent Stations of the Cross are. And then there are these laminated prints of Stations of the Resurrection taped underneath them. And they're lovely. Like I said before, I don't think we make too much of the cross, but I don't think we have made enough of the resurrection. Though our liturgy speaks that we should. It's 50 days long, the season, rather than 40 days long. So life is stronger than death. Anyway, I like how, so Easter season always progresses. It's so Easter Sunday, the empty tomb, and then the Sunday after is always the confession of Thomas. Thomas is missing when Jesus comes and says, I won't believe until I touch his wounds. And then the next week, Thomas is there. Jesus comes back and says, go ahead, touch my wounds. And Thomas says, my Lord and my God. That same gospel is proclaimed every year. Because most Sunday gospels that rotate every 3 years. Easter morning is always, you have an option. I'm trying to think if it's ever different. If there's any other Sunday like that where it's always the same gospel. Easter Sunday, as the Word was made flesh, Christmas is always the Word is made flesh on Christmas Day. But sometimes people proclaim the midnight mass because people want to hear the story of the crib, but in the manger. And then Easter is usually John and the beloved disciple and Peter running to the tomb, and Mary Magdalene telling them. But you can always do the Easter Vigil one. But the Sunday after Easter is always the story of Thomas and Jesus. Thomas coming to faith. Then the next is usually it rotates, but it's usually an appearance. So we had Easter on April 9th, and then Thomas on April 26th. Bad language over there. Hopefully you didn't hear that. Golfers have short tempers,
Yeah, just let him go get it, Kyle.
So, what was I going to say? And then it's some resurrection appearance usually. So last week we had the road to Emmaus, that beautiful story for our first communion, and then it's Good Shepherd. It's always Jesus the Good Shepherd from John chapter 10, and it's all in chapter 10, and the whole discourse is verse 1 through verse 22 or something like that. And we're in year A, so it's going to be verses 1 to 10. And then next year it's verses of like 11 to 17. And then the year after that it's verses like 18 to 22. So they split it up that way. In a way, it's too bad it's not the whole thing, but that would be a little bit long maybe. But it's great. Jesus the Good Shepherd. So it's always the, fourth Sunday of Easter, they call it. And then you move into... I think it's the kind of the love commandment gospel. I don't know if it's a week after or 2 weeks after. This is my commandment, that you love one another. That's always in the Easter season. And then it's usually something from John about, I won't leave you orphans. I'm going to send the Spirit to you as we kind of wait the Spirit. And then those weren't golfers that had the bad language. It was I shouldn't say. Anyway, I don't mean to be judgy. I've used bad words myself when I get frustrated. Not that I'm proud of it, but I just didn't want you to think I was condemning somebody. So it's about Jesus sending the Spirit. And then the weekend before Pentecost used to be like that, but now it's actually the Ascension. We celebrate on the Sunday instead of the Thursday. and then Pentecost. So that's kind of how the Pentecost this year will be on May 28th. Anyway, so this is Good Shepherd Sunday. I want to share with you a couple icons. I like this one. I think I've shown these before when I had an icon tour, but I think this is by Robert Lentz, okay? And he said he would do this if he could do it the way he wanted. And I think maybe I explained. So this isn't maybe typically how you see the Good Shepherd. I am the Good Shepherd. I know my sheep know me. You might notice one of the things, that's not a sheep, is it? It's a goat. And it's a billy goat because he's got that beard. And apparently the artist, when he was writing the icon, he said, well, I wanted a couple things. I would like the shepherd to be Arab to reflect the skin color of the area. And so it's more of an Arab face. And he said, I want it to be a goat. I want it to be a billy goat because billy goats, for lack of a more delicate word, stink. I guess they're kind of just an unruly animal and they smell bad. And he wanted to get the point across that the Good Shepherd loves us even when we stink, even when, you know, our kind of our stubborn, grace-resistant selves, that we are loved, that he is our shepherd. He knows us and he calls us by name. So I think that's awesome. I know Christine likes this icon. Okay, there's that, and this one I take great care of because it's my most precious icon. It's an original when I was on sabbatical. I think I showed it once before in the chat, but I'm gonna see if I can show you. See it? See if you can see it. I thought I'd show it this way because it's. I'll just do it real quick. See the great shininess of it. It's a gold leaf, you know, and how's that? Oh, I got that messed up a little bit, but that's okay. So there's a different one of the Good Shepherd. Now it's in the shade, so it's not quite as shiny, but that's all right. So I love this. I had this commissioned by a guy named Gabriel, Armenian descent, Greek Orthodox man. And this is kind of a traditional, though typically you'll see the sheep draped around Jesus' neck. That'd be a more common. And I saw a copy once where he's holding the sheep tenderly. See how he's supporting the sheep with his hands there. He's blessing us with his right hand. That looks like his left hand on my screen, but then he's holding the sheep tenderly, kind of like you'd hold a baby with his left hand. And the sheep's looking at him with those big eyes, you know. And this, so this here, I don't know if you can tell, but the Good Shepherd icon, this is kind of the classic, it always has the cross on it. Why? Why would the Good Shepherd icon have a cross on it? It's because the Good Shepherd lays down his life for his sheep. Bad shepherds come to steal and murder, and I have come that they might have life and have it abundantly, and I will lay down my life for my sheep. It said, bad shepherds, if the wolf comes, they run away. I will not. I will be with them, and I will lay down my life. And so the cross is there as a reminder of that. Usually you can see the cross above the halo too, but this time the head in the halo is so big. But see all the beautiful detail in this that he put in this icon? It's just really, you know, I like praying with it, and I do pray with it, but honestly, I think more about the artist and my time in Jerusalem than I maybe think about Jesus when I pray with it, so maybe it's not the best one for me to pray with. Hope I can have a good, and then this, I don't know if you remember me ever telling a story about that. So this is the man named Frederic who introduced me to Gabriel, who was very excited about it. He said, we toured Calvary, we toured the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and we went to a place outside the church, kind of below, and you could look up at Calvary Rock, and he took it, he flaked something. I saw him doing something with his fingers, and on the way out he said, Tom, I have something for your icon. And I said, what? I got a piece of Calvary. So not only does it have the Calvary, you know, the cross on it, it's got a little piece of Mount Calvary on it that's inserted here. So anyway, this is just a very precious icon to me, and I hope I can pray with it more without just thinking about how beautiful it is in the the history of it. If I can let the Spirit of Jesus touch me a little bit more directly, that'd be great. But Good Shepherd Sunday, that we have Jesus who loves us, wants to be our friend, wants us to have life. I love that verse. We're going to hear it this time. It's a great one to remember. John 10:10. I've come that you might have life and have it abundantly. Amen. Just give you a little look at this and we'll say goodbye. I just went over 30 minutes again. Peace. I know.